Good morning to you. I'm KatieNJeffries. Thank you so much for waking up with us here this morning. Another foggy morning out there. Staff is busier and patients are sicker. That is how one pediatric doctor describes the daily grind at Wolfson Children's Hospital. Investigators say they believe this case is solvable. They have evidence and DNA from 2 different crime scenes. And while they have suspects, no arrests have been made. But there are strong opinions about the vaccine on both sides. So how do you discuss getting vaccinated with a friend or family member without it devolving into a fight? Pandemic, babies. Maybe you were up early this morning feeding one of your new babies. But we are ending year 2 of the pandemic, and there are many babies who have lived most of their life during COVID times.
Our children have, right? Yeah.
And then when you started finding out more and more about initially Jennifer Siebert, because that was the name we were first told, only to find out that was an alias for Kimberly Kessler, and then kind of seeing this case unfold over the last couple years. Today's finally the closure in that, a guilty verdict. Now, another thing we are watching here is I-95 northbound. Only one lane is open past Bay Meadows because of this crash, where you can see right here an overturned vehicle. But you have the tow truck there on scene, so they are working on it, but this could take some time to clear and open up those other lanes.
Would you stop at that house for Halloween or just keep on going by? Like,
I think I would stop at that house, because with those decorations, you know he's got the king-size candy. That's what I'm saying.
Everybody's a tattletale, even though they don't mean to be.
Just pull the Shaggy. It wasn't me.
It wasn't me, right.
Wasn't
I don't
me.
know, it wasn't me.
You were caught on camera. Wasn't me.
Wasn't me.
Urge to get into online fights. Commenting on posts can easily drag you into an argument because a person's tone is often lost in text. This water extends all the way out here into 3rd Street. It actually is on the other side of this barrier as well. And it goes up towards, it looks like 4th and maybe 5th Street. There is a lot of debris on the ground, so when you do come back, you really want to be careful for things like this. You've got a lot of debris, things with nails sticking out. True test of your work here right now. All right?
at that.
Good.
Yes, it better taste
That's
good.
really good. You can stay another day here at GMJ.
All right, yep. Everybody.
I cannot believe we are 1 week out from Thanksgiving, but I will tell you, I've got the stretchy pants ready. I am ready. I'm getting out the pregnancy jeans. You know what I mean? So you have extra space. I'm ready. Good morning, I'm Katie. Investigators say they believe this case is solvable. They have evidence and DNA from 2 different crime scenes. And while they have suspects, no arrests have been made. But they believe the community holds the key to this case, even if they don't know it yet. On a small bridge over the shallow Swift Creek, Darlene Messer's life came to a violent end. Her body found crumpled in the water below, her face beaten beyond recognition. It's a bridge Darlene's daughter, Angela Teeny, has visited.
And then you look around, you go, well, how would I have gotten away? Which way did she run? Then you just realize it doesn't matter, it's just a bridge.
The year was 1989. Darlene had moved from Canada to the First Coast area and married Charles Messer, a prison inmate at that time on death row in Rayford for murder, though detectives don't believe he had anything to do with her murder. On September 18th of '89, Darlene was working the overnight shift at the Swanee Swifty, a convenience store along State Road 100 in Lake City. Lieutenant Todd Lucier with the Columbia County Sheriff's Office says the last people to see Darlene alive was a Georgia couple that stopped to get coffee and snacks at the store around 12:38 a.m. He says the couple hung out on the tailgate of their truck for around 15 minutes, then went to leave.
They remember this vehicle specifically and vividly because they almost struck it. It came in, and when they were backing up to leave, they almost hit it, and they described it as a Pontiac Grand Prix, in their words, a Heinz 57 color vehicle.
Within minutes, the silent alarm would go off in the store, alerting local authorities. But when they arrived, they found this scene: a store in disarray, money strewn on the ground, and Darlene gone. Ominously, a man's belt left at the scene, looped through at the end.
Like it was looped through as if it was to tie or hold somebody down.
Her body would be found 2 days later, 13 miles down State Road 100 underneath the Swift Creek Bridge. Blood droplets on the ground and the side of the bridge, along with a large oil stain from a vehicle. Darlene's body in the water below, with severe injuries to her head.
It was like a ball peen hammer kind of look to her skull that was kind of crushed, and she had some claw marks that were indicative of a hammer.
Investigators in '89 began looking into a suspect who had committed a robbery in Stark around the same time. They had a tip that someone had seen a blue car in the area with a woman screaming inside. Their suspect had a blue car and a violent history.
That's where investigators spent a lot of time.
But as technology progressed, technicians at the Florida Department of Law Enforcement were able to take the blood found at the bridge and isolate 2 DNA samples, Darlene's and the DNA of someone else. The belt at the Swanee Swifty also had DNA, but neither sample matched the suspect in the blue car. But there are others.
I'm just calling them Roger and Robert. They were arrested 10 days prior at the Swanee Swifty in that vehicle in a Heinz color 1977 Pontiac Grand Prix.
A strikingly similar description to the car the Georgia couple described. In an arrest report for the incident 10 days prior to the robbery, Lieutenant Lucier says the sergeant that wrote the report said that the two were likely going to rob the Swanee Swifty that night. The report also notes that when a deputy went to speak to them, one of the men was under a car fixing what appeared to be a leak.
The vehicle that came and abducted her and took off had some type of major oil leak. There was also a major oil leak on the bridge right where she was dumped too. So yeah, it throws up a lot of red flags.
But a crucial piece of evidence doesn't match. Lieutenant Lucier took DNA samples from Roger and Robert, and neither matched the DNA found in the blood or on the belt.
You know, is it possible that there's a third person with them and he was the one that, you know, that's why I need the public's help. Who were these other two running with?
He says before Darlene worked at the Swanee Swifty, she, Roger, and Robert all worked at a restaurant in Middleburg called the Oyster Shack. And he wants to speak with people who may have known or worked with the three of them during that time. For Angela Teeny, it gives her hope that Lieutenant Lucier is still working her mother's case. She says her mother was a free spirit and a good person, and she wants this case closed so people can remember Darlene as a person, not just a murder victim.
Because it's easy to forget all that when this trauma is in the forefront. You know, someone's got to stick up for her. She was larger than life to me, and my uncles miss her. We all think about her. She wasn't just a nobody.
If you know anything about the murder of Darlene Messer, please contact the Columbia County Sheriff's Office. KatieNJeffries, First Coast News, on your side. They come by like clockwork. Every Wednesday at 8 a.m., neighbors hear these familiar sounds.
Class, a lot of garbage.
While most
Whose trash should we go pick up?
ignore it.
Bruce's.
Bruce's trash?
Yeah.
This little guy
I think we got all everything.
is their biggest fan.
We got everything?
Oh, I better get this one.
And though 3-year-old Eli loves his toy trucks,
Open it.
this is his favorite time of the week. And it has quickly become garbage men James and Chris' favorite stop.
You don't see very many kids knowing what they're wanting at that age. It makes me excited to see him as wanting to be a garbage man.
Dressed in his matching reflective vest,
That doesn't have top on it.
Eli's fascination with garbage pickup began
That one's heavy.
when he was only one.
That one's heavy.
And when James and Chris took over this route a few months ago,
Yeah.
they noticed
What's he gonna do with the big box?
some little feet
Crush it.
were always following their truck.
I think it's the crushing and the dumping it in and all of the process of collecting the trash that really fascinates him.
Here, this one doesn't have stuff in it.
And for the men whom neighbors usually don't talk to, it warms their heart to see Eli and his family
Where did dresser go?
every week.
It's inside it.
It's inside it.
When I get up in the morning on Wednesdays, I know that I've got something to look forward to when I come to work. I see little Eli and the grandparents following us around, you know, and I guess it makes me feel all warm and tingly inside. Is the easiest way to explain that.
Crush a pumpkin. Sometimes they even let Eli
You ready?
give it a shot.
Pull them out. Ready? Pull.
And since he wants to be a garbage man someday,
Oh, wow.
This is for you.
Oh
my goodness.
Look at that.
They help him look the part,
Got you a hat.
dropping off a couple of gifts.
Got you a couple more hats.
And in 2 years, when Eli goes off to kindergarten,
Now it's got a little paint on it.
the family has another little one that seems to be in training.
We'll see if the fascination continues with his sister.
Wow,
It goes to show,
look at that.
sometimes friendship pops up in the most unlikely of places.
You gonna be a driver when you get older, or you gonna be the one on the back?
After I get older.
When you get older?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll be here when you get here.
And though it started with one man's trash,
Bye, big man. See you next week.
it has quickly become
Okay, we'll see you next week.
a friendship to treasure. In St. Johns County, KatieNJeffries,
Bye, garbage.
First Coast News.
So normally during our newscast on a Friday, we would be talking about weekend events and big festivals and sporting events happening in the community. But in the last 48 hours, we have seen something unprecedented. So the canceling of entire sporting events, ends of seasons for teams and festivals and concerts postponed. This has some people upset, saying that it's all overblown and that the majority of people will recover even if they catch COVID-19. If you don't have underlying health conditions, you're not elderly, you're in good health, you're probably right. So far, statistics show you will recover. But I urge you to remember, it's not just about you. It's about your parents, your grandparents, your aunt with an autoimmune disorder, or even the man standing behind you in the line at Publix that has a daughter at home with leukemia and he's trying to stay healthy for her. It's about our hospitals, doctors' offices, medical facilities not being overrun all at once by sick and panicked patients. If you are sickened with COVID-19, but the symptoms are mild, it may not seem like much to you. But what about those that you could potentially spread to someone else? It could be much worse for them. Canceling these events could help slow the spread of coronavirus, which means those who do become critically sick, they would be able to get the help they need. So yes, it's disappointing that we can't all be out at the Players this weekend or at the Iceman game or at the Michael Bublé concert next week. But if we want to slow community spread of coronavirus, it takes the work of exactly that, the community. So stay home if you feel sick, practice some social distancing, wash your hands, and remember, it's not just about you.